Hi, I'm Heidi, and I've watched about 1,000,000 videos on near-death experiences because I happen to think that I've been near and next to them so many times. I've been clairvoyant since I was about 3, having like medium abilities, but it all kind of fades in and out, you know. It's not always like there on a dime. I grew up in the 60s, and when William Moody's book came out, I was first in line to get that. I've always been fascinated by it. I've always been fascinated by out-of-body experiences, and no matter how many times I tried, I could not master this. I just always had a really hard time with it, and till I had my car accident, and then things changed. I was coming down a hill. It was a 3.5-mile, very, very steep hill. The ones with the yellow signs that say steep hill. It was about 20 degrees, and I was on my way to work, and there was a sudden ice storm at the top of the hill, right at the top of the hill. So by the time I got, I don't know, like a quarter of the way down the hill, I don't remember anything. I'm assuming I didn't stop. There was a lady that was coming the opposite direction, this way, this way, and I'm going this way. And she had a 58 Buick. I had a little Subaru. I called it Boo. And what they say about Subarus is true because, like, they will save your ass. So anyway, I'm coming down this hill, and she broadsided me. And I think I broke her grill. My car spun around 3 times, and then it hit a foam pole right where the driver's door was. Boom, right there. And then it went around again, and you gotta imagine this is wicked ice. This is like upstate New York. And it took off out into this field and landed out there. So, meanwhile, the lady thought she killed me, so she didn't come to my car or anything. She just like stayed in her car. My girlfriend went by, and she didn't realize it was me, and she dialed 911. And then 911 got there. Well, in the meantime, I was out cold in the car, and not aware of anything, except for the fact that after the accident, I'll come back and forth here a little bit, but after the accident, I had a business at the time, and I said to one of my employees, like, Petey, we got to go out, back up to that field, because when my car kind of imploded, exploded, whatever, and it kept spinning around, all my stuff was out in that field. And I said I was walking around, and I saw, like, different tools and things that I need for the business. And Petey looked at me, and he's like, Heidi, they had to cut you out of the car. It took 45 minutes. Like, oh yeah. Well, I know I was walking around that field, so that would be out-of-body experience 1. Out-of-body experiences 2 and 3 and everything, they came shortly after. I guess once I jumped out, my body was used to jumping out. Back to the accident. There was nothing left of the driver's side. There was no driver's door because they cut that out. The driver's seat was folded in half, just like a V. Steering wheel was broken in half and off the column. And I guess my feet were in the driver's side on the floor, and my body was in the passenger side. It took almost half an hour for the ambulance to get there. It was way out in the country. And meanwhile, my girlfriend called her boyfriend, which was one of my very good friends, and said to him, be careful about that accident when you go by. So he goes by, and he sees my car, and he goes, oh my God, it's Heidi. So he comes out, and he was going to stay with me, which was awesome. I got out of the car and into the ambulance, and I still was not awake. And the first person I saw was a state trooper. You know how that is. I opened my eyes, and he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, I don't know. And he said, did you have your seatbelt on? And I'm like, I'm sure I did. And he goes, well, there was no driver's seat left in the car, and you were in the passenger seat with your feet locked in the floor, and the driver's, there's no way you could have. I said, I'm sure I did. What's your name? I don't know. I finally got it together enough to know that my daughter was going to be home from school, and my son was going to be home from school, and there was nobody there because, well, this is kind of interesting. My marriage broke up like about 2 weeks before this, and I just got this little place where I was staying with the kids, and so I had the marriage, and then I lost the home and all that. I just left this, whatever, and I got another place, and then I had the accident, so I lost my health, I lost my car, I lost my marriage, I lost my home, and then it flooded 2 weeks later, and I mean, like, it flooded, like, evacuate me, and that was out-of-body experience too, which will be another video. This is my first video. I got all these things that I'd like to share with you, so give me a chance and I'll work on this. Back to the accident. So the ambulance came, and the fire truck came, and everybody came, and they were taking me to the hospital in the ambulance, and I guess about 15-20 minutes there, a trauma ambulance met me, and they took me out of the one ambulance, they put me in the other ambulance, and I'm just like in and out of consciousness. I remember when I was in the CAT scan, and they're like, you can breathe when the red light's on, but don't breathe when the green light's on, but don't breathe when the red light's on. And I would pass out, and I'd see the green light on when I'd come to, and I'd be like, oh God, I could have been breathing, you know. It was a very, very interesting time because I didn't feel, I mean, I knew, I was like, oh, I think I broke my hip, but the shock was so great that I felt no pain. It was awesome. And of course, when I was out of body and walking around the field and seeing all my stuff out there, you know, I didn't feel any pain at all because, like, I wasn't in my body. The body was in the car. I never looked back. I never saw the body in the car. I just was out looking at the field. And I also want to share that I feel kind of gypped because, like, I wanted the out-of-body experience and the near-death experience, but I'm very glad I'm alive. Let's see. Now let me fill you in more about the accident. So she hit me broadside, and my car starts to spin. Woof, woof. I guess it did 3 total circles. Well, when it did that and she hit me, all the windows broke, and I owned a sign painting business, and all my paint blew up. And there was these white llamas across the street in this. Yeah, they got paint in them, and then it was fresh ice and snow, and I had like different colored paints, like a tie-dye all over, because my car was going in circles, and paint was flying out. And I know that the fire company was really upset because they had a brand new fire truck, and when they came in out into the field to get me, their fire truck went through the snow, and it splashed paint all up, all these colors on their new fire trucks. They were bumming. Other than that, that's my body experience, my first out-of-body experience. I imagine I was out walking around the field for like half an hour and had no clue until like 2 weeks, a week after the accident, I don't know when it was, that I was talking to my employee, and I said, we got to go back, we got to get the stuff. Now, the first time I saw the car, that was when God threw me on my knees. That was interesting because I went out there and I looked at my car, and there was like half a car there. The whole driver's side was gone. And I'm looking at it, and I went around to the passenger side, and I looked down in through the window, and I'm looking on the floor, and I always had a crucifix hanging from my rearview mirror. Anyway, the crucifix wasn't hanging from, there was no no windshield. Anyway, the crucifix was on the floor, on the passenger side in the front seat, right where my head, I guess, ended up, because my feet were on the other side, crushed in there. And I was outside the car looking in, and I saw the crucifix, and I said, yeah, where were you? I mean, I'm a very religious person, and I can't believe that even came out of my mouth. I was like, I still feel horrible I said that. And as I said those words, I didn't fall to my knees. I was thrown to my knees. I mean, thrown. I mean, I've always had a good relationship with God. Like, I'm his daughter. He's my father. I could talk to him. I'm on my knees, and I'm hearing this voice, and you know how it is when God talks to you. He said, I was holding you. Yeah, that's right. Where were you? I was holding you. I wasn't upset about losing my car, and my home in anything, because at that point in time I realized that, like, I was a very lucky lady. So, anyway, thanks for listening, and as I said, I got some other videos, things I'd like to share with you. If you're interested, tag along. Have a nice night.